All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Sean Patel. I'm the founder of 2400 Expert. And in this video, I'm going to cover a little bit of information with respect to our Nashville SAT prep courses that we're launching. So to start off, I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. Back when I was in high school in Las Vegas, I started off with around an average SAT score, and I was able to raise my score all the way to get a perfect score. Now that's something that just about 0.02% of students achieve, and my SAT score completely changed my life. I was admitted into many prestigious universities. I received $250,000 in scholarships. I even got to meet the President of the United States. And since achieving my perfect SAT score, I also went on to write #1 best-selling SAT and ACT books. And now I've also started 2400 Expert, in which we teach 6-week-long courses to students, both in person and online. With respect to the Nashville one, it's our in-person course. The courses are 6 weeks long. Students meet with instructors twice a week, typically for 3 hours. So 6 hours of instruction there, as well as 4 hours for testing on weekends. So it's 10 hours a week total in terms of classroom time. And then in addition, there's homework in between. So it's a 6-week long course. We do more preparation than anyone else to really improve our students' SAT scores. And in addition to 2400 Expert, I also am currently an MD and MBA student at both Yale and USC. And many of our students go to great universities themselves because of our average SAT score improvement of 368 points. Students often go to some of the top schools in the nation: Harvard, Stanford, Yale. They receive millions in college scholarships, and it just really changes their lives. So I'm really happy that we've had the success that we have had at 2400 Expert. Now, the first thing I want to address with respect to our Nashville SAT prep course is to answer the most frequently asked question related to the SAT, which is, when should my child start studying for the SAT? And the answer to this question is really just as soon as possible. Many people wait until spring of their junior year or fall of their senior year to start studying. The problem with waiting that long is typically you're very busy during those times. So spring of junior year is often full of AP exams and finals. Fall of your senior year is full of college admissions applications. So trying to study during those periods for the SAT often doesn't happen for students, or they don't do it very thoroughly, and they don't improve their scores enough. They don't get the scores they need to go to the colleges they want. They don't get enough scholarships, and that's a shame. Personally, I started studying for the SAT when I was a sophomore in high school. We have many students who start studying with us or taking our courses as young as 8th and 9th grade. And what we notice is that students who start earlier typically get the highest SAT scores. They typically get in the best colleges, and they win the most scholarships. Now, that's not to say that it can't be done your senior year or late in your junior year, but it's better to start early to give yourself a better chance. In addition, if you wait until spring of your junior year or fall of your senior year, you totally miss the PSAT, which I'll discuss in a couple minutes as to why that's important. And if you also start earlier studying or taking one of our courses for the SAT, in which we teach 100 strategies related to reading, writing, and math, the benefit of that really is you also end up doing much better in your high school classes, your high school math and English classes. We continually get parents telling us that, my freshman or sophomore or junior learned so much in your course that they now apply to high school in general. Because one of the things we like to teach at 2400 Expert are really study skills, right? So no one really ever teaches you how to study. They just expect you to study. And so that's one thing we teach at 2400 Expert. So as soon as possible is my advice on that. In terms of our Nashville SAT course in particular, our 6-week course runs out of Intelligent Office. It's in downtown Nashville. It's a new location. Great place, accessible for most people in Nashville pretty easily. Our instructor is awesome. He's probably the most sought after SAT prep instructor in Nashville. It's Dr. Sam Katz. He's been tutoring SAT for over 20 years, and he's had a couple students get perfect SAT scores themselves. He scored in the 99th percentile himself. And so we're really, really excited to have Dr. Sam Katz on our team and to be teaching our Nashville courses. Um, Okay, so one thing that I want to let you guys know, especially for the younger students, is how important the PSAT is. The PSAT, most people sort of ignore it, but really it's the only test that can qualify you for national merit. And national merit is not only a great accolade to have on your college application, but it's also a scholarship worth $2,500. In addition, many universities will automatically give you a half tuition or full tuition scholarship just because you are a national merit finalist or semifinalist. So some universities like where I went, the University of Southern California, will give you a half tuition scholarship just because you're a national merit. So that's equal to about $100,000. And so if you think about it, for scoring high on this one PSAT test one time, October of your junior year, you can get $100,000 scholarship, and that's pretty amazing, right? Most people don't realize it. And how high do you need to score on the PSAT in order to become a national merit scholarship recipient or finalist, right? Well, that really depends on the state that you live in and how well students in your state perform on the PSAT will determine your state's PSAT cutoff score for national merit. Now, Tennessee's not as competitive as other states, like a Massachusetts or a New Jersey. And so its cutoff is typically a bit lower. I expect that the cutoff for the new PSAT for Tennessee students will be approximately around 1340, something like that. It's out of 1520 now. The old PSAT used to be out of 240 points. Now it's out of 1520 points. And so you can expect that it'll be somewhere around 1340. And it's actually quite to your benefit to live in Tennessee that's not as competitive as other states because you can qualify for national merit with a slightly lower PSAT cutoff score than maybe a more competitive state like California or something would have. In addition, so one other thing I want to talk about related to SAT scores is scholarships. So everyone realizes, a high SAT score can get you into a good college. But what most people don't realize is that a high SAT score can also qualify you for many scholarships and help you win many scholarships, right? So when I was in high school, I won $250,000 in scholarships. I applied for 100 different scholarships my senior year of high school. I ended up winning 20 of those. And what I realized was the secret to winning scholarships, 19 of those were local scholarships, meaning scholarships open to students in Las Vegas or students in Nevada. I went to school in Las Vegas, Nevada. And so the reason that that was a secret, I realized, was because the applicant pool is much smaller. If you think about it, even if you apply to a scholarship that's only open to students in your state, you've at least reduced the applicant pool down by 50 times, right? Compared to applying for a big national scholarship, which is what most students waste their time doing. And so what I tell students is don't waste your time going on these big scholarship search engines, applying for these large national scholarships that you're most likely not going to win. Instead, focus on scholarships that are open to your local community, state, etc., right? And so one really good resource for Nashville students is the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. They give away a few scholarships to local students, and so I would look into that. That's a really, really good resource for you guys. Finally, why should you take our 6-week SAT prep course in January and February, which is the next set of courses that's coming up? Well, the answer to this question is because I want students to take advantage of the curve on the first administration of the new SAT, which will happen in March of 2016. So what I mean by this is the SAT is curved. So you can get a higher score on the SAT if most students don't do well and you do well, right? And so if you think about it, the first administration of the new SAT, most students are not going to be ready for that or not going to be well prepared. But for the few students that are well prepared, they're going to benefit from that curve because most students aren't doing that well. And so, for students taking our 6-week January, February Nashville course that will prepare students right up to that March 2016 SAT, you will be very, very ahead of the curve with respect to that first administration of the new SAT. So how do I know that first administration of the March 2016 USAT will have a better curve than usual? Well, because the same pattern happened 10 years ago, really. Back when I was in high school, I remember students that took the first administration of the 2400 version of the SAT. So 10 years ago, the SAT changed from 1600 to 2400. Now it's changing from 2400 back to 1600. Um, so the students that took that first administration of the new 2400 SAT 10 years ago, I remember the ones that were ready, they scored exceptionally well on that first administration. There was 2400, 2380, 2320, 2280, and this was all at my high school from the few students that were ready for that new SAT, whereas everyone else was not. And so I want you guys to take advantage of this by taking our SAT course and getting super ready for that first administration of the March 2016 SAT. Hopefully you just knock it out of the park, get 14, 15, even 1600 on this new SAT, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore, right? You'll get your SAT done in March, you'll get your AP exams done in May, and your finals done in June, and that way you really spread out your testing really well. And so that's really my recommendation for students in Nashville looking to prepare for the new SAT. All right, so we hope to see you in one of our courses very soon.